if they'll actually really do anything to help us, because I mean, they're sinking. They're influenced by Germany, Soviet Union, and France, so that makes it kind of stupid, you know. That, like, I mean, if they're, like, let's see how good they're influenced, because if we can get through sinking through, like, I actually kind of want the transit rights, ask for transit rights. Impossible. But if we can if we can wipe through there, then when the Cold War starts, if we survive to see it, then I guess we can invade India. The Mongol invasion of India hasn't happened 1,000 years. The second invasion, counting Genghis Khan's first, we conquer all of India. We can also invade Afghanistan, which would be a very pointless war, because the Soviets invaded it historically during the Cold War. They got corroded, and I mean, they got corroded horribly. They died just a horrible death fighting in Afghanistan. I mean, not the current Afghanistan war, but if you didn't know, back in like the 70s, they invaded this, and they died just so bad. I don't know. I still don't know how the Afghans. I mean, I haven't studied the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, but I'm just kind of wondering how Afghanistan could have held off the Soviets, but they did. I mean, if the Soviets held off Hitler, then yeah. Let's actually look at Hitler right now. Germany's an Axis member, obviously. They have claims on Lithuania and Poland, bargained by the Chinese. Interesting. Paul, Iraq, France, Bhutan. Isn't that like the closest allies member to us? Whoa, I just saw a bunch of troops just, okay. I'm still kind of worried about this Turkish-Soviet border conflict that might happen. It'd be really interesting to see the Turks invade Soviet Union, like try to form some kind of Ottoman Empire. It'd be really cool if they invaded Syria. That'd be awesome. But you know, but if they invaded Syria, they'll go to war with the British, and if they go to war with the British, they may manage to kick the French out of Syria. But then they'll advance into Iraq, they'll die, and into Britain, they'll die. I mean, into Israel area, Palestine, they'll die. They might actually try to get into Saudi Arabia, but that is if they go south. But if they go north and try to like build something up here in the Soviet Union, I don't know if they'll win or not. I mean, I think that the Turks, I mean, I mean, I'm only talking about the Turkish forces up here on the border, the Soviets, but they probably will be able to overpower the Soviet border troops in advance and invade and conquer parts of the Soviet Union, but I'm afraid that they might be stopped. But I don't know. I mean, I've never seen that scenario. I mean, I've actually have, but I've seen the Turks invade the Soviet Union, which seems so stupid. And what they did once, because this has happened several times throughout the time, they managed to get all the way to Stalingrad, literally. They conquered Stalingrad, believe it or not. They advanced like all the way through until they got to Moscow, and they died at Moscow. They were pushed all the way back. They got chased down, fought a bloody battle, and they got all the way back to the border. Like, they were pushed all the way back to Turkey from Moscow. And so they lost Stalingrad, and they fought all kinds of battles, and they got back to Turkey. And the Soviets, like, flew into Turkey. It was like what they did to Napoleon and Hitler, you know. They made Napoleon's mistake, they made Hitler's mistake. And so they conquered, like, all of Turkey. They went all the way to Istanbul. And they stormed Istanbul, and it was just the coolest thing I've ever freaking seen. And for some reason, Bulgaria declared war on them, and they advanced and got, like, all of this. Like, they got everything. Like, they got all of this. Like, on this side. You know, Tehran, or however that's pronounced, you know, this province, this, but they didn't get this or this, or Istanbul. And so the Soviets annexed it all, except the lands that Bulgaria had. and they made a satellite communist state in Turkey. And they later fought a war with Bulgaria, and they got the rest of Turkey. And they just kept it as Soviet territory. They never released it or gave it to the actual communist Turkey Republic that they set up. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in a Hearts of Iron game. I've also seen, without Hitler, I've seen Romania invade the Soviet Union. It didn't go too well, but they did manage to go all the way up to like here. And they were pushed back, and they took Bucharest. The Soviets did, and they made a communist republic. And I've seen all kinds of ridiculous things, and that's how they got their war, and like all the way over here. Because historically, that stuff happened in like 1945, but they did it in 1942, which I think is weird. Yeah, weird or not, it was really cool. But yeah. Anyways, so back to Mongolia. I'll take a pause. Saved like 6 minutes, like 6 seconds ago, so I'm not gonna save again. But it'd be really cool to see Xinjiang join us, or if they don't, we'll just invade them and destroy them and kill them. And because if we survive World War II during the Cold War with the Allies, in a Comintern versus Allies, I will probably invade India and push the British out. I don't know if I'll keep it Mongol territory like Genghis Khan did, or if I'll make it a satellite state of Mongolia and the Soviet Union, another communist country, but in India, the People's Republic of India. And, you know, but to do that, I'll also conquer Pakistan, and then I bet that I'll keep Pakistan as my own. Maybe not. I might set up a Pakistan Republic. Because I'm not going to have both a Pakistan People's Republic and an Indian People's Republic. Because if the Kashmir conflict rigs out, then that'll put the Comintern in war, and the Soviets might actually invade Tuvatamva and Mongolia, because that'll just split up the Comintern. If the Kashmir conflict happens between India and Pakistan while this Let's Play goes on, that'd just be cruddy horrible. But there was only going to be one satellite state, and it's probably going to be India, maybe. I want one of the countries for my own, and I may just keep like northern India, for my own. And I'll probably also invade Sri Lanka from India. I'll keep Sri Lanka, decision made, and I'll keep Sri Lanka as my island as my own. And from there, from the tip of India and from Sri Lanka, I'll probably attack the Maldives. I'll make like a People's Republic of the Maldives, I guess. If that's possible. If not, and these little islands around here, I'll just keep them for my own if I do invade them. And from there, I'll probably land in Madagascar, if I can get my ships in range. And this little French island, and I'll conquer all of it. Maybe make a republic in Madagascar. There I can attack Africa and set up some African colonies. It's a good plan, but it'll be a while. I'll have to wait a few years. In-game years, that is, for that to happen. And that's only if we survive, the war with the Chinese and, an invasion of Xinjiang, which might go bloody if they're not already in. Oh! Japan has invaded China. I think I'm going to take this up as an opportunity to invade them. Attack Zebe Sanma, maybe actually declare war on Chiang Kai-shek in advance. Of course, I'll need some Soviet assistance. I can't dominate China, but the Japanese can actually kind of weaken them. Be cool if I make an alliance with them, but I don't really want to, because it would look really, really bad to have Hirohito allied with, a bunch of Stalinists. So I'm not going to do that, and I actually probably will end up eventually fighting a war with the Japanese. They're just, Japanese, they're a bunch of fascists, and they've conquered China. That means that they've kind of sort of stole our land, and I don't like people that steal my land. So I'll probably end up in the next 3 parts probably go into war with the Chinese area. I'm trying to get down my neutrality as much as possible. Let me see. Neutrality. Yeah. No, lower neutrality. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and comment. As always, see you guys next time. Bye bye.